Shalom Israel. First and foremost, I do want to give all praises, all honor, and all glory to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai Ba'Shem Kadash, the one of the apostles, and else great millstone for teaching us his true peace and blessings to the whole of Israel. Yahweh is the name of the Father in Hebrew. Ba'Shem is the name, and Yahweh Shai is the name of the begotten Son. Back in our lesson, and as in the title, we're going to be going to how the signs are clear, and and just how close we are to the end of this place. That's why you get within the scriptures, especially speaking on Romans 13:11, how our salvation is nearer than we believed. And as we continue to progress latter into these end days, we continue to see a spike, an increase regarding these birth pains. Dealing with these plagues, these pestilences, these judgments that are going out, as you get in 2 16 and 37. And we're also going to read right here in Matthew 24. In the last verse, it also mentions those birth pains when you get another translation. But this is something to the spirit. Do you have any articles or videos to get? So those will be edifying and to the point. And as Matthew 24 and 3-8, and it says, "And as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came to him privately, saying, Tell us when these things be, and what should be sign of thy coming of the end of the world. And now it says the end of the world is not speaking of the whole and the entire earth, but speaking of an evident age, the end of an era. So the list off the things that we would see now take place before Lord Yahushua will return. Verse 4, And Yahushua answered and said to them, Take heed that no one deceive you, for many shall come in my name, saying, I am anointed, and shall deceive many. So to be careful and wary of who you are listening to and who you are learning from, especially within these last days, man. If you allow these false prophets that have been set up in order to lead those astray that are not meant to make it, to be that stumbling block. And you can really tell what these guys are about. Via their actions, the way they speak, the way they do things. They're not doing this for Yahweh Ba'Shem Shai, for the awakening, of the elect. They're doing these things to fulfill their own belly, their own lust. To make a profit off this ministry, a quick buck. That's why in Malachi 3:18, discern between who serve the Most High and who serve them not. And to go back to that point, these guys are clearly not serving the Lord but themselves. But this is verse 6, and you shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. That's why you see tensions building between the nations, conflict continuing to break up. Now, the CD be not told for all these things must come to pass, but it is not yet. For a nation shall rise against nation, and committing its kingdom shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places. And these are many things that we are seeing. Verse 8, all these are the beginning of sorrows. And if you get the NLT, it goes to the beginning of those birth pains. So it's going to continue to pick up from here on out. And the signs are clear. Now you had Bishop Nate from the IUIC said, he guessed that there would be to 20 to 30 years left that this place, could possibly be destroyed. And it goes to show he has absolutely no faith in Yahweh Ba'Shem Shai. Now he's ultimately trying to stay here. Because no true men of the Lord within this truth is going to even think or utter those words, especially when the signs are not leading to that. I saw a few brothers speaking on that. But Luke 21:25-28, because that's crazy. 20, 30 plus years. Scripture going to how we would hasten unto the coming of the day of our Lord. You get in the scripture Matthew 24 and 21-22. How the Lord would hasten those days for his elect. Come on. And of course, we don't know the exact date, the exact hour our Lord will return. But going back to this whole point, we're given signs to measure the times that we are in. And we're nearing the end. Luke 21:25-28. Further going to that point, there should be signs in the sun and in the moon and in the stars. And upon the earth, distress of nations with perplexity, the sea and the waves roaring. As you all seen various signs within the heavens, especially regarding these chariots, which are the so-called UFOs today. Verse 26, further going to that, man's heart feeling for fear, and for looking after those things which are coming in the earth, for the powers of heaven shall be shaken. Verse 27, and then shall they see the Son of Man, which Yahweh shall come in a cloud with power and great glory. Those clouds are speaking of those chariots, which you get in Psalms 104:3. Verse 28, and when these things begin to come to pass, and look up, and lift up your heads, for your redemption draweth nigh. We're almost out of here. Let's get a few more. It's Acts 2:19-20, further going to these end time signs. Once in things that we would see before our Lord Yahweh Shai will return. And I'll show wonders in heaven above and signs in the earth beneath, blood and fire and vapor of smoke. Verse 20, main point, the sun should be turned into darkness and the moon into blood before the great and notable day of the Lord come. And once in those signs are crystal clear. And it is clear unto the Lord's elect, which we will pray that we're of that number. Because you see, this is foggy unto a lot of people, man. They're unable to, see with what's getting ready to unfold. Things that are even happening as we speak. It's foggy, but it's clear unto the Lord's elect. That's who the Lord has bestowed this knowledge upon, which we also get a few scriptures further going to that. 2 Ezra 9:1-4. He answered me then and said, measure the time diligently in itself, and now see prophesying past, which I told you before. And just going back up top, that main point, he answered me then and said, measure the time diligently in itself. Now, how do we measure times? By these signs and these prophecies. And we listed off many of them, Matthew 24, Luke 21, as well as Acts. Now it says, and when thou see prophesying past, which I told you before, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time when the highest will be divisible which he made, which can be by the Lord Yahweh Shai. Verse 3, therefore, further go into these end time signs, when there should be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world. Verse 4, then shalt thou understand that the Most High spake those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. Habakkuk 2:3. I said, for the vision is yet for an appointed time. Was that vision speak of the signs, the prophecies were in those appointed times, as written and spoken within the scriptures. But at the end shall speak and not lie, they would tarry, wait for it, because it surely come, it will not tarry, meaning it will not delay. These things will happen and will come to pass. Got a few more. This is Matthew 13:16-17. That says, but blessed are your eyes, for they see, and your ears, for they hear. And we are blessed to have this knowledge, this understanding of this word, this truth, to especially see, the things that are going on right now. Can you see a lot of jakes? This is going right over their heads. It's just another day for them, man. And this is why you also get Matthew 24:37, how we're as in the days of Noah. Jake is giving that shrug of the shoulder, man. They could care less, not taking the warning serious. Verse 17, verily I say unto you, that many prophets and righteous men have desired to see those things which ye see, and have not seen them, and to hear those things which ye hear, and have not heard them. But now let's get these, I believe, the last two scriptures. This is Matthew 13:11, and it says, he answered and said unto them, because it is given, actually, let's go back to the previous verse. And the disciples came and said to him, why speakest thou unto them in parables? So, like a riddle. He answered and said to them, because it is given unto you to know the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven, but to them it is not given. It's why, they're unable to perceive and understand, this word, this truth. Especially these warnings that are being sent out. That's why it is laughable to them. It's crazy. Because, it's not for them. There's Revelation 16:15. And as it behold, I come as a thief. The main point right here, blessed is he that watcheth. And you see, many of our people are not watching, they're not paying attention. That's why it says right here in the top of the verse, behold, I come as a thief. How Lord comes as a thief in the night, which in 2 Peter 3:10 also. Unexpected, especially to those who are not paying attention, those who are not watching, those who are not seeking the Lord, those who are not preparing for Lord Yahweh Shai's return. So that they're going to be caught by surprise, with that left hook. As they keep his garments like they walk naked, and they see his shame. But that's pretty much the point right there. Some through the Spirit going to these end time signs, and how it's crystal clear with the type of times that we are in, with everything that's unfolding and taking place as we speak, and the things that we will see. As you read Matthew 24, Luke 21, Acts, the 2nd chapter, further going to these end time signs. But that's the point. I do close out and give all praise, all honor, and all glory to Yahweh, B'Shem Yahshua, B'Shem Kakadash, and Shalom. See you next week, the Lord's will.